everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Salary Sacrifice Secrets, how the right benefits can add up to next savings. It's great to have you with us today. And I'm thrilled to be joined by Phil Curtis, who's CEO of Avantus, which is now part of Ciphr Group. Hi, Phil, how are you?
Good morning, very well. Nice to see you all.
Brilliant. And I'm also joined by Neil Monroe, Sales Director at Avantus, again, part of Ciphr Group. Welcome, Neil. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Nice to see you all.
Jolly good. And it's great to have everyone with us today for the first of our Ciphr Benefits webinars. I'm just going to run you through some housekeeping up front before I hand over to Phil and Neil. So today, they're going to take us through the NICS changes, which I'm sure you're all aware of, came into effect this month. We'll review the basics of salary sacrifice schemes, the benefits of using salary sacrifice, how to get started with implementing a scheme if you don't have one already, and then there's also time at the end for Phil and Neil to answer your questions. So do send in your questions using the control panel on your screen, and also share your thoughts in the chat. Say hi, perhaps share what kind of benefits you already use or where you are with your salary sacrifice schemes or any kind of challenges that you're facing at the moment. This webinar is being recorded and we will email that recording to you afterwards. So if you want to recap anything or share it with a colleague, you can do that. So as I mentioned, the Avantus Group is now part of Ciphr Group, as I should say. We're referring to that now as Ciphr Benefits, and that's part of our end-to-end people management offering. We cover everything from recruitment and onboarding through to central HR software, payroll software and bureau, as well as benefits, of course, e-learning, and DE and IB consultancy. We won't go into all of those solutions today. If you want to find out more about any of those, you can visit our website at ciphr.com, or you can email us at info@ciphr.com. So Neil and Phil, can I hand over to you and ask you to just give us an introduction to Ciphr Benefits, or Avantus as you might know us?
Yeah, lovely. So as you touched on, we became part of the Ciphr Group back in November. We're 5 months in. We bring an element to Ciphr that previously wasn't there, which is the benefits area. We have a fully functioning, flexible benefits platform that will be fully integrated into the Ciphr journey. So employees log in, book holidays, do appraisals. Next thing they do is get to the benefits and enjoy all the good things that we will bring to the party. It's a really good joining of minds with similar aspirations, similar client bases. And 5 months in, we're all very happy.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you. Next up. So, ready to start proceedings. The big challenge of the day, if we just flip to the next slide, all businesses up and down the land in the UK are facing the national insurance increases. These are significant. And the essential news is Class 1 employers' national insurance increases from 13.8 to 15%. And as significantly, the threshold, the point at which employers start paying national insurance, has reduced from 9,100 to 5,000. The cost of the threshold reduction alone for anybody earning over £5,000 and up to 9,001 is £615 a year. Just to bring it into sharp focus, if you've got an employee earning a salary of £30,000, the effect of these NIC rises is 2.9%. That's before you give a pay rise. So it's a real significant consideration for businesses up and down the land. Add to this is the national minimum wage increases, a small benefit from the employment allowance increasing from 5,000 to 10,500 a year, but that's per company or a group of companies, so not making much difference. That's part of the challenge. And Neil, over to you, really. You speak to clients day in, day out. What are they saying?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you've got other market turmoil around the world, but certainly we've seen a big increase in people asking about salary sacrifice schemes and putting those in place, and we'll get into some of the real detail about that shortly. And I think some people are deferring decisions to implement things like flexible benefits, but I think the salary sacrifice is right at the top of the pile for them. And we hope, going forward, it's a good way of saving tax. And Phil we'll pick up the detail on that next.
Great. So salary sacrifice scheme.
Yeah.
What is it essentially? So in its purest sense, it's a variation to the employment contract. It's an employee saying, I'll give up some of my contractual pay in return for a benefit. And maybe a good example is with a bicycle. So I'm earning £40,000. I want a nice flashy new mountain bike. I'm going to ride to work on it. Employer, please, can you reduce my contractual pay by £2,000 from 40 to 38,000 and give me a bike? Employer says, sign here, we'll evidence that, and away we go. Why? Why do I want to do it? My contractual pay is fully taxable. A bicycle, if you meet the right conditions, is tax-free. Therefore, there are significant savings. What are they? It's the tax and national insurance. Basic rate taxpayer, 20% tax, 8% national insurance. So there's a 28% saving on the cost of that bike. Higher rate taxpayer, 40% tax saving, usually 2% national insurance, 42% saving. Extended rate, if you're lucky enough to be there, 47%. Equally, with a true tax-free benefit like cycle to work, 15% saving now for the employer on the cost of that bike, spread over the 1 year period, typically. So that's essentially what it is. We have to meet the right conditions for salary sacrifice, but the savings are very significant. Next slide, please. I just thought I'd take everybody down memory lane a little bit, and this will show my age. My first forays into salary sacrifice were back in the 90s, in fact, with profit-related pay. Some of you in the audience may remember. You could at the time give up to 20% of your contractual salary in return for pay that was linked to the profits of the business. The schemes were very attractive if your profits were quite consistent. I was in the banking world back then, and we met the criteria very well, and we enjoyed the benefits of that for some time. Unfortunately, the government changed their tune on this particular product. It wasn't really meeting the intentions, and they withdrew it in 1999. But at the same time, they introduced two new schemes. One was the Home Computer Initiative. This is back in the day when we didn't typically have laptops or computers at home. And the idea was that they'd encourage everybody to bring something digital into the home environment. It was introduced 1999. It was successful. Towards the end, it was being used for full multimedia machines and all sorts of crazy stuff. Again, the government thought, not quite what we intended. And they pulled the plug on that one overnight in 2006. Good old cycle to work, however, 99 was introduced rather quietly, part of the Green Transport Initiative, and that's still alive and kicking today. And I think, Neil, we were saying as a benefits business, we've seen about £15 million worth of bikes go through our platforms over the period. So it's still alive and kicking. It looks like it's here to stay. 2005, arguably the big bang for salary sacrifice with childcare vouchers, which really brought salary sacrifice into the mainstream. There's a bit of a theme here. That was going great guns until 2019, when it was closed to new entrants. It's still hanging on, but I think it's down to about 3 or 4% of the max as it was in 2019. And moving on. Next slide, please. Can I do it? Yeah. So over the years, there was lots of creative thought, and there were a number of schemes that were introduced that met the full tax-free conditions, some of which I've noted here. So we had car parking schemes. You could charge your employees to park around the back or in a car park where you could walk from, tax-free. Canteen vouchers were also in the mix. Health screening, that was also fully tax-free for a period. I think we then roll on to 2017 when HMRC stepped in and thought, we want to tighten this world up. And they introduced OPRA, Optional Remuneration Agreements, that stands for. And it really limited the benefits that could be offered tax-free. So, Neil, I think next slide is probably where we go and what was actually permitted expressly in this act.
Absolutely. So pension contributions had some good clarity around being able to do salary sacrifice into pensions. So we started to see an increase in clients, companies moving their pension contributions from sort of a net pay deduction to gross pay salary sacrifice schemes, and we've still seen that increasing across all our clients and anybody that we speak to. Another thing that sort of was also sort of permitted was getting some pensions advice, and there are limits to how much that an employee can spend on getting sort of financial advice. But that was quite an interesting one and good. We were pleased to see that, weren't we, Phil, at the time?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because we felt that there wasn't enough advice in the marketplace for employees, with all the new pension changes coming up, which we now are obviously living today. Childcare vouchers, as Phil touched on already, that's still there on the rundown, as Phil rightly said. And of course, workplace nurseries, that's grown in popularity in the marketplace. There are some strict rules around that, which clients have to adhere to in order to gain that tax benefit. The big popular one, obviously, back to cycle to work. That has been tweaked over the years since 1999. With different sort of tax allowances for pretty much now it is unlimited, so you can buy a bicycle for £10,000 in theory. We see averages of around 2,500 with our clients, but we can set that at any point really for them. And of course, the emergence of low emission vehicles, the electric vehicles have really grown in considerably across our platforms. We're seeing that a big growth area. And then, so they're sort of the full salary sacrifice. Obviously, they all have individual rules around them. But also there are still benefits that offered through SalSac, not specifically referenced, but life assurance on flex benefits, and also holiday trading is still really popular. I think 95% of our book has holiday trading as an option for clients either buying or selling. So yeah, there's been a good change in that market. It's a real shame that slowly they're removing them all. But, and then some benefits, they're still available, sort of medical insurance, often done through salary sacrifice, dental and tech schemes. And by doing it through salary sacrifice, the savings are for the employee only at 8%, and that's national insurance savings. So again, very, very popular. And we've certainly seen, a big growth in that and continued growth. Moving to most popular salary sacrifice, but just as a summary really, the cycle to work, pensions, electric cars. And we're certainly seeing on the electric cars, about, as we know and read in the press, 70% of all electric cars have been provided through employer-supported SalSac schemes. So we're seeing a continued growth in that area, and different providers. There are more providers out there now than there were 5 years ago. But of course, there are always new benefits coming out. So we're mindful of new things that come out that say they might be full SalSac, but again, we always have a little warning: beware of schemes that, if something's too good to be true, remember HMRC does have teeth, because they've changed their minds on things before, and if they don't like something, they may get a little bit heavy. Okay, Phil.
Yeah, so just I think a quick recap then on the benefits of salary sacrifice. It doesn't cover everything. You can't, for example, pay your mortgage off for salary sacrifice. Anything that's convertible to cash won't work, or you'll have to pay national insurance on it. But in essence, the true tax-free benefits, we've referenced tax and national insurance savings for the employee and national insurance savings for the employer. Where it's a taxable benefit, medical insurance, tech schemes being examples of, salary sacrifice, fine, but the benefit is employee national insurance only, 8% basic tax rate, 2% if you're over that limit. And I think in terms of benefits, salaries are relatively easy to introduce. There's a few things you need to be conscious of, we'll touch on later, but in essence, really popular, widespread now, and no reasons really why you shouldn't be looking at all of these things.
Thanks, Phil. So you want to put salary sacrifice into play. So we put a little sort of guidance note here. What we find the easiest way to deliver this is from using a platform to deliver this to your employees. Is the most common route and the easiest, because you're working from a single database rather than multiple providers with multiple spreadsheets for choices. But before we get there, you do have to consider, obviously, your employee profile, be aware of the national minimum wage implications, and also impact on any state benefits. So once you've gone through that sort of review or mindful of that, we do adjust our platform, for instance, to cope with that and to be able to highlight that if people are going below national minimum wage, we can either stop them or generate a report. So once you set those up, it's all done digitally. So from a salary sacrifice agreement. So what that is just agreeing, as Phil said at the beginning, agreeing to a reduction in pay to get a benefit. Tax savings are shown on the digital platform, which is also useful. So from an employee self-service, they have everything all online to be able to view before they make an informed decision. And then once they've made that choice, then the systems will generate a report for the provider. So if it's at the end of the month, you need it for the first of the month, those providers will be notified that X choices have been made. So that could be, as I say, cars, childcare vouchers. And obviously an output file is needed for payroll deductions. So again, we always help our clients to actually put that together to match their payroll requirements as well. So it is straightforward, and obviously very happy to help. Any questions, answers?
Hi, Neil, Phil, thank you for that whistle-stop guide to the salary sacrifice. So yeah, if you have questions for either of them, either specifically around salary sacrifice or about the broader benefits platform, we can answer those for you now. Just send them in using the Q&A area. And we've had one question from Samantha. Is there a particular criteria that allows a benefit to be deemed to be salary sacrifice?
I think bar being cash or cash equivalent, you can use salary sacrifice. It's really the tax rules that determine the benefit of that. So for example, we talked about cycle to work. That's expressly allowed as a tax-free benefit. Electric vehicles, yes, they are taxable with a benefit in kind, but that benefit in kind tax is still 2%. It's very, very low. And you would need to do a P11D entry or payroll that benefit. It will all be payrolled as of April 26, as you're probably aware, rather than using P11Ds. But essentially, the contract between employer and employee is not a matter for HMRC. The treatment of the benefit is, and that defines how you would have to administer it.
Okay, thanks very much. A good question here from Mark. Can you explain the relationship between benefit in kind and salary sacrifice?
Yeah, similar sort of answer. You can salary sacrifice benefits that are taxable. Private medical insurance. So if you put private medical insurance through salary sacrifice, you're going to reduce taxable pay. Savings to employee would be tax and national insurance through that mechanic. However, you have to pay tax on it, and that's where the benefit in kind comes into play. So you would make an entry on a P11D to pick up that tax, or you'd have to put that through payroll as a taxable element.
Okay, thanks very much. Now, there is a note on the screen that we cannot give tax advice, so I'm going to put this question to you from Jennifer and just see if it's one that you feel comfortable answering. If a staff member is being paid national minimum wage, are they able to buy more annual leave no matter what their hours are? I don't know if we're able to advise on that or not.
The general rule with salary sacrifice is you cannot sacrifice if it takes you below national minimum wage. The slight complexity here is around annual leave. It's not a true salary sacrifice. It's not treated quite the same way. But I think it's something that you would need to take separate advice on to answer the question.
Okay, thanks, Phil. If you have any more questions in the audience, please send them in now. Otherwise, I'm going to put a couple of questions to Phil and Neil. So through Ciphr Benefits, we offer a benefits platform that helps you administer these benefits. Is it possible to do salary sacrifice without having a platform? What are the benefits of using a specialist provider to help with that?
Neil.
Yeah, go on. That's fine. Yes, of course, you can go direct to a provider, electric car provider, and they will set up the scheme directly with them. The benefit of using a platform is that it's one database, and we can gather together not only the salary sacrifice benefits, but other benefits and information about the employee benefits that you as employers give. So, for instance, details on employee assistance programs, just reminding staff about the great benefits that they have, as well as salary sacrifice. So we see it very much, the clients that want to go ahead with the platform is very much bringing everything together into one place, whatever that benefit is. And then once they do that, then implementing salary sacrifice is so much more straightforward. And as we said earlier, all these sort of legal agreements can be done electronically and captured, and therefore the reporting and managing of that benefit is easier. Does that answer the question? Phil, anything to add to that?
No, I think that's very good. I'd buy from you, Neil.
Thank you.
And if somebody was considering introducing a benefits provider platform, like how quickly could you get up and running with that theoretically? If you were, suddenly in a position where you're like, oh no, my NICs have gone too high, I really want to reduce that, and I want to use salary sacrifice and do it through benefits, how quickly could we be looking at?
Yeah, we sort of look at sort of 6-8 weeks, probably 8 weeks is a good average now, isn't it, Phil? For getting not only the providers set up for delivering the salary sacrifice, but building the platform, branding it, in the client's branding colours and images. So we're very, very fast in the marketplace, but still accurate in what we produce.
And does that have to be done in line with any particular timing with payroll? Do you have to wait to the end of a tax year to set this up?
No, there are no restrictions on when you can set these things up. We implement platforms throughout the year. Obviously, you do get a hiatus around certain periods in the year, like April. January used to be very popular as a launch time, but that's that's diminished slightly. So yeah, we can go live at any point in the year, and irrespective of any insurance renewals as well. So you don't have to wait to do the renewal on your medical insurance, for instance, before we go live. So yeah, we have a mixture of all of those scenarios.
Okay, amazing. If anyone on the call wants to explore the benefits platform more, you can opt in to get one of our experts to give you a ring after this webinar. There's an interaction you can see on your screen. Just click that button and we'll register your interest. And Maxine, I can see your question asking to see what the benefit platform is like. Earlier, we showed you this slide, and this is a screenshot here of the welcome page on the benefits platform. Is that right, Neil?
Yes, that's right. Yes. But we'd be very happy to do a sort of a no obligation demo. It'll probably take 15 minutes that we can book in a one-to-one.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. So a couple more questions have come in. Joanna asks, can you please explain again the benefit of sacrificing private medical, NI saving for employees, and what are the reporting obligations? P11Ds ?
Phil.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the benefit of introducing, private medical insurance through a corporate arrangement would be preferential terms as a starting point. The tax saving for employees is 8% as a basic taxpayer, and as they go into higher rate, reduces to 2%. And it's on your marginal earnings. There are no savings for the employer, with a salary sacrifice for private medical insurance, it is a taxable benefit. The reporting obligations currently depends how you report benefits. If you're using P11Ds, you need to make an entry on the P11D at the end of the tax year, and that would work its way through to the employee through their pay code. You may already be using payrolls to tax benefits. That becomes obligatory in April 26 anyway, and that would also pick up the tax. I hope that answers that question.
Okay, thank you very much, Phil. Yeah, just on the payrolling of benefits in kind, I know that's a subject we've touched on in separate webinars, and there's still we're still waiting a lot of guidance from HMRC on how to process that. So that's a topic we will be revisiting between now and next spring, I think, probably more than once. So watch this space when it comes to benefit in kind.
We've had you would recommend you don't leave it too long for that one.
Yeah, you've got to be set up and ready for it. But some of the
opportunity really. So
yeah, the specificities of which ones can be payrolled. I think there are some which there's lacking clarity on them. Yeah. But yes, no, you're quite right to point out no time to waste in getting yourself set up to payroll. You don't have to wait until next year to payroll them. You can move before then, as from what I understand, on the payroll side. So we have a couple of questions about the Ciphr benefits platform itself. So Karen asked, would we help with sourcing providers such as dental or critical illness? She works for a small firm, so looking at how she can get this set up from scratch.
Yes, certainly. We are not regulated as a sort of financial advisor, but we work with hundreds of advisors across the globe. So we can certainly help you, assist you in getting the right cover for you. Dental, critical illness, there's no limit on what you can do. It's normally the cost that's the limit from a client's perspective. But yeah, we can certainly help you, point you in the right direction. We've got some very, very good partners in the financial services area that we support.
Okay, brilliant. And a similar, related question, Gordon asked, can our platform host benefits that are not provided by us or by our partners?
Of course, each platform we build for our clients, UK or across the globe, they are bespoke to what you want as a client. So if you want all the great benefits that you give your employees, to highlight those things, that's what we do all day, every day. So you're not restricted by just the providers that we have on the platform. So it is truly your platform. It will look like you, it will feel like you, and the terminology also will be your terminology that you use internally.
Okay, thanks very much. That's come to the end of our questions for now. So Neil, could I ask you for one thing that our audience should take away when it comes to salary sacrifice benefits, one key thing to remember or tip to take away from today's webinar? Sorry to put you a bit on the spot here.
No, so I think don't ignore it. I remember 10 years ago when people were ignoring pensions as a salary sacrifice option, and now 99% of people that we have a platform with us have moved over to salary sacrifice. So I would do it and do it now whilst it's still there. Some people are worried about it being withdrawn, and of course that's always an option for the government or HMRC to do, but why not enjoy it whilst it's there? And we certainly do from our pensions, and yeah, it's a great way of getting instant tax break.
I think a final thought from me, we're wandering down the high street looking at all the electric cars. 70% of those in the UK are through salary sacrifice employer supported schemes. It shows you the effect that the policies can have.
Yeah. That's quite an astounding figure, actually, and definitely something to bear in mind when you're putting together your benefits suite, I guess, is to consider what appeals most to your employees. If you consider bike to work is really popular if you have a lot of people close to the office. Electric vehicles might be more popular if you're a bit more distributed, perhaps, or different generations could be viewing benefits in different ways. That's probably a whole different topic, but something to bear in mind when you're thinking about what you might want to offer on your benefits program, whether it's salary sacrifice or not. Okay, well, thanks everyone for joining us today. If you are watching live, we've recorded this and we'll email that to you soon so you can recap it or share it with a colleague. If you want to learn more about any of our solutions, whether that's our HR software or the employee benefits platform, you can use the exit form on your screen when this broadcast ends, or you can email us at info@ciphr.com. Just tell us what you're interested in and we'll be happy to put you in touch with one of our experts. Thank you, Neil and Phil. Thank you to our audience for joining us today and being so attentive. We really appreciate it. And we hope to see you at another Ciphr webinar again soon. Take care and have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Goodbye.
Cheers.
Bye.